I'm not saying you should give,
I think the board, I agree with you.
you know, I'm not saying you should give the land away either, but do the best you can for us. But you need to keep talking, or you're not proving nothing. You're gonna lose by not talking. I made a suggestion to a couple people in Fulton that whenever a newspaper person gets around them, they quit doing the negotiating in the paper. They ought to keep their mouths shut.
Right.
And I would say the same thing to you guys. And I don't think you have to defend your integrity, Howard. I disagree with a lot of things you do, but I don't think you have to do that.
That's right. That's
And
right.
Claudia, when you described the Fulton sewage treatment plant, if you didn't mention Fulton, you could be talking about any sewage treatment plant in the state. There's not one in the state that operates right.
Would the board consider an arbitrator? I mean, is that negotiable?
They already asked that, Mary, and they said no. Charlie?
Charlie Swan, so close. Annexation is not the same thing as the county taking the land. The county has the land. The county is still the overall municipality. It is not the same as removing it from one municipality and putting it in the other. Oswego County is all of the towns, and it is all of the cities, both of them. Fulton has to sue us in order to take the property. It's that simple. It is Fulton's action. They must sue the town in order for annexation to occur. Just because some people bought the land, they don't have an overwhelming right to take it from one municipality to another. That was settled in the Ogdensburg case. That was one of the points. A landowner, annexation does not exist for the benefit of a landowner. We haven't stopped any development from occurring. That mall is going full steam, hell-bent for election. Kmart is up, the Shell is up. They intend to start moving things in May. They want to be open by August. Annexation has not been settled. It will be there. The more complete the project is, the more obvious it is that annexation is not necessary for the development to occur. The taxable amount, by the way, is constantly increasing all through that. As Howard said, we have substantial revenues to lose at this point if the mall does not go in. It's a fiction that it's only a small amount of money. How soon can we cover the cost? Probably the first year. If we allow this annexation, it will not be the last. To begin this process of negotiating away the town is to never end. It never ended with Granby. Every time they want something else to come along, Fulton says, sure, we'll give you the sewer and water. Come over to Fulton. Volney has been recognized as the growth corridor of Oswego County. Fulton looked down the river and they saw our ship coming in. And they said, hey, and they're trying to direct it to their harbor. Fulton's had their turn. There's still plenty of development that can occur within the city boundaries. It's Volney's time. Don't let the city steal it.
Thank you.
Some people had said they were concerned if we have a battle like this, it's going to scare away developers. When I talked to the supervisor of Oswegatchie, now they went totally to court about annexation in 1980. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, the city also wanted another shopping mall that was going in, and that just ended up being a war of words. It didn't actually go to court or have any petitions. And what actually happened was the fact that this development started in the town has helped revitalize the city. Now the city that was so worried about, oh, we can't let anything happen in the town or we're in trouble, now has a new Walmart going in right now. It hasn't scared anybody away. What the developers look at is whether or not there's enough market there. Are they going to make a buck? They don't care if we hate each other as long as we spend our money.
If there's any more public comment, I'm going to call a quick recess before we continue, okay? With the board's permission, can we take a 5-minute recess?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. We need to vote on that, I can't remember. I'll just take a recess.
Just do it.
Chair can call a recess. Not unless someone's got some surprises I don't know about.
Not that I know of.
Huh? It's just public comment time, that's all it's about.
Everybody's tonight is very nervous about Howard.
Sales tax, Kmart, PNC,
Oh, yeah.
all the stores that were going to be in the
Softening his stance on it. For them to give How are you? They admitted that there was a link.
I tried to get developers in there to develop
If you can't mow the lawn, you don't go out and grab your neighbors. But it's like us with the microwave. Everybody said you're never doing anything crazy. There's nobody small big favors. I would just, how would we ever know if we did that? How would we ever know that, we
I wouldn't have been this. But you see, there was fitness players.
Something in there. Then, after they got the sewer water, then it comes in. But it's like, years ago. That's where they said, everybody has, they can have a street water, it's all come on. And what happened was they were all excited. We were there, and the neighbor was going to come in the time. I don't think go in their car. Their boss was out because there was so much traffic. They said, forget it. I don't know what
Barb.
My name is Barbara Foster. I live on the Silk Road. I'd also like for the record that I'm also on the Zoning Board of Appeals. At the time this mall went in, I was chairman of the Zoning Board, and after the annexation issue came up, I got to admit that being on the Zoning Board for only a few months, I kind of felt a little betrayed. But I got over that. I would like to publicly thank Mr. Warner, Mr. Pierce, and Mrs. Smart for all of the help that they've given me on the zoning board, and also like to say thank you to you for sticking to your guns against annexation. I really feel kind of strongly myself that Fulton is trying to take something that doesn't really belong to them. And I've been listening to an argument that's been going on, and I won't go into that, but I really do think that there's been some very nasty things going on behind the scenes. But Mr. Pierce, please keep up the good work. I enjoy the letters that I read in the paper. You very often say some things that I wish I could have said. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Donna?
Yes, my name is Donna Kessler. I live on County Road 45, and I want to thank everybody for staying and returning after the recess, because that was one of the comments I wanted to make. I know we're supposed to address the board, but part of my comment is to address the audience, that I think we owe some respect to the people that are talking. We all have our own opinions on these things, and that's why we're here. If somebody comes to one meeting in a year because they have a complaint, like Mr. Clavelli, is he gone now? I think we should respect them. We should respect them. We should keep our comments to ourselves. Okay? It happened to be my husband, but at the last meeting, I was appalled at that. I was appalled that that gentleman, or I shouldn't call him a gentleman, I don't think, would come up to him and say, I don't like your jokes or whatever, and I'm leaving. If you want to leave, leave. But do it without a comment. We all deserve respect when we are standing here. If you want to walk out, then walk out. Do it without comments. I have a couple questions. One, I would like to know how many dog licenses we issue in a year. And I don't know if anybody can answer that now, but maybe at the next meeting, which I won't be in attendance. But, and if the mall opens in August and this happens to be in court, what happens with the sales tax?
There won't be a sales tax.
It'll just be...
It'll be 4%. There won't be a city sales tax until the...
4%.
Right.
Yeah, I was wondering. I would do, my husband and I don't agree on this issue. He agrees with you, I agree with Claudia. And that's okay, because like we said, we didn't want a rubber stamp board. So we didn't want a rubber stamp board, and I'm glad that you all... Okay.
Yes, dear.
Anyway, I would like to use a different analogy. What if someone had a gun to your kid's head and said, you know, I want your kid. Would you fight for your kid? Or would you just say, okay, go ahead? I would fight. There are risk takers and there are people that are not risk takers. I would go to court for this issue. So you can all just pretend that this is my phone call to you, and I hope you write it down, and I hope you decide, you watch the meeting on the television, and you keep track of who wants what, just for the fun of it. And I feel that we should send a message to Fulton like we did to the EDZ, that we don't want to give our land up. And like we kept saying with the EDZ, we're going to send a message to Albany, send it to Fulton, and let them know. That's how I feel. Let them know that we don't want to give our land up. It's family land, and they are playing Let's Howard in the board fight, and it's working. It's working, and I agree that you should keep your negative comments out of the paper. Think what you want to about each other, but you differ in opinion. And people that are risk takers don't usually talk people that are not risk takers into taking risks. I mean, either you bungee jump or you don't. You know, most people don't. You don't get talked into that. It's something that's inside of you. So I say take it to court. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Any other comments? Mark?
What's going on with what we're reading in the paper with the hospital waste being burned? They'll be in...
Oh, you mean oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I meant to mention that tonight myself, because a lot of people probably aren't even aware of it. Well, it has to do with medical waste the state was disposing of, apparently, and it was brought into our incinerator. And I don't know if you want to comment on it, John. I know you're an employee there. If you want to, you're welcome to. But my concern with it is it's a mass burn incinerator, which means they can burn anything and everything in there, and there is no source separation. They might do some spot checks once in a while, but you know a lot of things could go through there with no spot checks, no checks and balances at all with what goes in there, and that's been my concern all along about it. And apparently, oh, on that particular item, yes. Yeah, on that particular item. I'm talking about everything that goes in there other than that. But, yeah, on that particular item, yeah, they were told that. And it kind of makes you wonder, you know, the power of the state as well. You know, they said they found a jar of mercury or something. God forbid that had gone in there. And who knows if some didn't. We don't know that either. That's the problem with a mass burn incinerator that I've always contested to be the problem. Chris?
I just wanted to say one more thing, that not only did the county accept the waste, that's another law they've broken, another one of their own laws. They have a law on the books along with the no radioactive waste that says no waste from outside the county. So they accepted waste from outside the county. And
Doesn't seem to be anything.
And medical waste is another thing.
Well,
Of course, these were apparently medications and drugs that were confiscated in drug raids. And who knows, like Howard said, there were 15,000 packages that were disposed of. I'm not saying all at Oswego County because I'm not sure. There aren't that many incinerators in the state. But how do we know? Someone happened to open that bottle with mercury. And mercury is very dangerous. And we have no pollution controls other than electrostatic precipitators on this incinerator, which means everything that doesn't go in the ash does go up in the air. And I think it's, I mean, why are they making the laws? Just to patronize some of us, to look on the surface like They care about our well-being, not to mention the cost of operating this facility.
So we have the law. They obviously broke it. It's black and white.
Right.
What do we do?
Well, they claim that they came in with armed police to do this, and if that's the case, that should have been made public by the county then and there, that they did not consent to this and they were forced to do it. That's what I would have done if I were in their position, but they didn't do that, so it makes you wonder if they really care. You know? Do we have a recourse?
Do we take them to court? Do
We
we slap them on the
could
wrist?
incinerator. We usually do that once a year. I mean, I don't know what you can do. That's why it would be good if we could go to the legislative meeting on a Thursday night, if the town board could change a meeting. I think the public needs to be in attendance and let the legislature know how we feel. Because our representative does not come here, and granted, he is probably a very busy person, but we have asked him to come to special meetings, and he will not. And I don't know if he's contacted anybody on the board to find out what the heck is going on and what our concerns are.
Can't the town board write a letter to the county, expressing their frustration and their opposition of them burning medical waste? I mean, you could go on record and have it read at the county legislative meeting.
There's no reason why we can't.
No.
That would be my suggestion, if you do it as a board, coming from, I mean, that would definitely have some impact, I would think.
Frank Church has gone on record saying the permit, apparently there was a permit for this, so they knew about it, and it expired in '92, and that they are not going to renew it. So obviously, they had the choice not to do it in the first place. That's how I read it.
But was there a law broken?
Yes. They even admitted
It appears that way.
They even admitted it. It was admitted on the radio. Frank Church admitted that they did violate their own law. But this isn't the first time. And we wouldn't have found out about it if the Albany papers didn't do a story. We would not have known. So what else is going on there that we don't know about?
This is just a little bit of humor, Howard. Chris, if we all went, you know what has to happen, when you go. Bill Buck has to introduce every single one of us. So you would see him then, Chris.
I know. That's the only time I do see him, if I do come there.
Alan?
Can't bring your camcorder.
Excuse me, Howard, when you said, when you were talking about the armed guards escorting this, what did you mean? Why did you think the armed guards were there?
Why do I think they were there? Well, I think it's obvious why they were there. I mean, to exercise some authority and some police powers, I guess.
I'm not sure. I think you may be mistaken. I got the impression that the reason there were armed guards, the state police were there, was the cache of cocaine and stuff like that,
Right.
to make sure that it was in fact thrown in there.
Well, that could very well be.
I don't think they were the gun to the head.
No, not to the incinerator people, no.
I think they were just escorting the drug shipments is what they were, making sure they got burned. Although it would be, I'd feel a lot better as a citizen if somebody was looking in those boxes. If they're going to throw cocaine in there, I want to make sure the cocaine is going in there, and not out somebody's.
There were manifests on all those packages. I don't know if the incinerator or the county got them, but there are written documents as to what the packages contained, and I think...
Still, you find the manifest that says pound of mercury, you'll never find it.
Well, right, but that means they did dispose of it then in one of the facilities. They have to say where it went. Now, if it came in a package, wherever it came from, they had to write it up what it was and where it went. And then they,
No, they could just put it in there.
But isn't that how
Yeah,
they
but that's
found
what I
out it came to ours? Yet we had nobody at our facilities that witnessed that. In other words, it came, and then supposedly it came to our place, and we had no proof that
we didn't check
ever
it out,
received
but
it.
supposedly the manifests show where it went and what it was. What I'm saying is maybe through freedom of information, we can find out exactly what was brought to the incinerator. I don't know if we really want to know, to be honest with you. If it was mercury, that is very dangerous.
Any other public comment? Donna?
What about the park?
What about the park? Okay, well, I'm waiting for word from our highway superintendent as to what kind of time he may have to do some work for us. I'm hoping that he can get in there and finish up the road area and the parking area. And then we're hoping to get the phase one section of it graded off, the topsoil moved over, and get someone in there to put drainage tiles in. We got some prices the other day, but they're a little out of the budget for this year. So what we're hoping to do is try to find someone that might be able to fit the budget for this year so we can proceed. Other than that, I'm not sure how we're going to handle it, because we want to do it right. And it does need drainage. That would be a real headache if we didn't have proper drainage over there. So we want to make sure the drainage is right. And hopefully it'll happen. And we're working. What's that?
Northern be interested in donating that?
The drainage part of it?
They have a drainage tile over there?
I don't know if they do, well, I don't know. They are donating quite a bit already. I could ask them again, but I won't say what the cost is that we got on this drainage right now, because we're gonna look for other bids, and I don't want anyone to know what it is, but.
Maybe we should advertise so we'd get more variety.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. So, I think you know that I'm really sincere about getting something off the ground here, and when we can do it, we will be doing it. Okay. Any other public comment? Okay. I forgot to mention to the board, and I wasn't even aware that this is how it worked, but there was a notice by Fulton in the paper about the scoping session on seeker. And our attorney was telling me today that we're supposed to respond to that if we want to sit down and address certain issues on seeker. And we have to initiate that ourselves. They're not going to just do it for us. We have to initiate a time and a date to sit down and identify areas of concern in
Well, when we
seeker.
had that other meeting, I asked him when the meeting was.
Well,
He said they hadn't set the date yet.
well, that's what I thought too. Maybe he misunderstood what it was.
Well, that's
because,
what old Jerry said.
Well, he's saying that we need to initiate a time, so the board, if we can get together here and set our calendars up sometime this week and set a time. We don't even need to do it. It's not mandatory.
Oh, I think we should.
Well, I agree, but they're, it's an option. They don't even have to do it with us, but they're giving us that option. What does the board think about changing our next town board meeting date so people can go to the county meeting and possibly
Sure,
ourselves?
if you want to have a field trip, I'm all for it.
Well,
I'm not necessarily sure. Now, when are you going to do it? Because we have to the best of my knowledge, you're right. Here we go, Colleen, yes. And I'd object every time that I say something that you make a comment out there. And I think Donna was referring partially to some of the comments that you constantly make, okay? Because you sit there and you do that all the time. Well, I'm sick of it. My concern is that we have established a set time for board meetings. To the best of my knowledge, we've never modified now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you modify?
No, that's not true.
Well, how do you, except for inclement weather?
No, we did it for inclement supervisor.
For inclement supervisor?
Mm-hmm. Supervisor was sick.
And we modified to when?
Yes, we did to the next week.
When do you want to?
well,
Well, the problem is, I have not, to the best of my recollection, we hadn't, but if that's true, then,
Well-
Claudia, I believe you.
before I came on the board, there was no August meeting for a long time. They just
We
didn't
just
have an
canceled
August
the meeting. I would have,
No.
but I'm saying when you start playing around changing dates, that creates a major problem for the actual town board meeting, because there are other people who have schedules, but.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll reserve the right to discuss this with the board this coming week, and we'll announce it if we do decide to do that. Otherwise, we'll say it's still the same date, but if we can change it and work it into our schedule and set another date, then we'll announce that publicly in the paper. How's that sound, so that we don't commit tonight to doing that?
That's fine.
Okay?
That sounds fine to me.
We'll consider it, because I'm not even sure what my schedule is yet, and I don't want to commit to doing that right now myself.
Sure.
Okay, I've got a few dates to announce, and then I'm going to ask for an executive session to discuss a personnel matter that we have. It's only going to be a short executive session. May 24th, 1994, grievance day here at the town hall from 4 to 6 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. June 1st, 1994 is...
You want to, the 24th is grievance day?
Yes, May 24th is grievance day. Okay, June 1st is our next zoning update meeting at 7 p.m. June 7th will be our bill signing and agenda preparation. And June 9th, tentatively right now, or actually it will be, unless you hear different in the press, June 9th will be our next regularly scheduled town board meeting. And one thing that one of our dog control officers asked me to announce was that there's a $5 rabies clinic per animal, cat and dog, Saturday, June 4th from 8 to 10 a.m. And tonight in Palermo through Thursday, May 12th. That's today. That's okay. It's over with 6 to 8 p.m. I don't know if they're both in Palermo. She doesn't have the location for June 4th, but I'll try to find out and I'll post it here in the town hall. On the 4th, it's from 8 in the morning till 10 a.m., but I'm not sure of the location because she doesn't have that on here. It may be Palermo again. I'm sure you can call the county and health department. They can tell you about it. So I'll move at this time to go into executive session.
Second.
Okay. Barb, will you poll the council?
Counselor Pierce?
Aye.
Counselor Ridgway? Counselor Ridgway?
Yeah, aye.
Counselor Smart?
Aye.
Counselor Warner?
Aye.
Supervisor Rose?
Aye. 10:15, Barb.
Well, the thing is, you go to the end and you vote on annexation. Then there's I can't remember if it's 45 days, but it's the next.
10:27.
Holy.
Okay, I move to re-enter our regular scheduled meeting at 10:27. Barb, will you poll the council?
Counselor Pierce?
Aye.
Counselor Ridgway?
Aye.
Counselor Smart?
Aye.
Counselor Warner?
Aye.
Supervisor Rose?
Aye. And I'll move to close this meeting at 10:28.
I'll second.
Barb, will you poll the council?
Counselor...
Aye.
No, no surprises.
Counselor Smart?
Aye.
Counselor Warner? Supervisor Rose?
Hope